Hey traders, Raghi here, and in this recap video, I'm going to bring you a little something different. And this is how, as futures traders, there are moments where I say the tail wags the dog. And that means individual stocks or a group of stocks can move the larger index. In this case, the way in which Wells Fargo earnings impacted the S&P. And collectively, we're talking about a number of earnings this week that if you take a look, as part of the way that I scan the markets, I will look at the heavily weighted names within any index, and I want to make sure that I know when certain tickers are going to have earnings, because those heavier weighted names can affect the larger index. So are there certain weeks, certain times that us futures traders are in essence also stock traders? Absolutely. The stock is a smaller component, and that's what I mean by the tail wagging the dog. In today's recap, I'm going to cover how Wells Fargo affected the S&P and how we also traded Wells Fargo. So let me give you guys a little tip here, or actually one of the great benefits of being a member, and that way you know how I set these trades up. In the members area, you'll see there's a section called the Learning Center. And inside the Learning Center, you'll see my recent Dallas Fast Track to Forex. Oh, I'm not logged into my own site. Okay, hang on. Let me log into my site. So you'll see that there is the Fast Track to Forex Dallas sessions are in there. And then also there is something called the Shockwave. And we put the Shockwave inside the Learning Center. I'm going to show you right now. Here we go. And here's the Dallas Fast Track to Forex. And here's Shockwave. This is a course that I did about 2 years ago on how I trade high impact events, and one of them happens to be the way in which I'll watch earnings and heavily weighted names within certain indexes, or psychologically relevant names within the indexes that we trade, like the Dow, the Nasdaq, the Nikkei, Nasdaq, Nikkei, S&P. Yeah, so those are the kind of names: S&P, Nasdaq, and Dow mostly, not so much Nikkei. All right, so it's been a really busy day. You can hear I'm just kind of bubbling with energy. Today was a monstrous day for us, awesomely monstrous. We put on a Shockwave put. We did this live in the chat room yesterday, and that was a series of criteria that are met in order for me to put a pre-positioned trade on in the WFC. And you might say, well, what does that have to do with futures? A lot when you think about the weighting that financials have on the S&P, and the fact that I still have a longer term S&P buy and I had a shorter term intraday S&P buy, and then we have Wells Fargo earnings before the bell today. We had 54 puts. In other words, we bought 54 strike puts yesterday. So I'm going to give you some of the prices that I can tell you what I got, but I think what's even more interesting are some of the prices people in the chat room got. There were people who bought Wells Fargo puts for 9, 10, 11 cents and liquidated them today for 42, 43, 44 cents. That is a massive win on an option. So anybody who plays options out there is thinking, what? That's almost what? More than 4x? Yeah, it's over 4x, darn near 5x return overnight by understanding these Shockwave plays. Now, I've played these Shockwaves in front of the ECB, in front of non-farm payroll, in front of FOMC, but they have to be fitting a very specific criteria. And there's a few extra moving parts and pieces to a stock play, and that's usually the earnings per share and the revenue expectations versus Wall Street consensus and whisper numbers. Nonetheless, here's how this impacted the S&P. Now, we play the intraday S&P, the 60-minute time frame. Now, this is the third time, and we have yet to take out the 25.56 high. Now, I went ahead and, one of the game plans for today was, either take 25.48, either take a time-based exit, which is I don't want to take this trade into the weekend, or if I happen to get stopped out, I'll get stopped out. I took my 2 points and got out. So we shorted 25.53, took out 25.48. We did that twice. And then today, this third time, we hit 25.53. And I was looking to get out at 25.50. I personally dropped the ball. A lot of folks took the 25.50 and a quarter or 25.50 and a half, took an easy peasy 2 points plus. I ended up taking 25.51. And that's it. I took my 2 points and now I'm closed. I'm done with this trade. But a very nice 10-point winner that we've been playing for 2 days now. I had a better idea that the S&P might struggle to put in higher highs because the financials were dragging this thing down. And this is really the way a well-rounded trader now thinks. And it's not difficult. It's understanding the interwoven relationships between all these markets. And once you do see that, the market actually becomes easier to trade, more fun to trade, because I'm weaving in and out of things like the euro and the S&P futures and then Wells Fargo, which was a great win for us. And they're all connected to a very similar narrative. So that's today's recap. I hope that gets you thinking about what the possibilities are with the way we trade here. My members, checking out the recap here, the Shockwave course is included with your membership, and it's in the Learning Center, as is the Dallas Fast Track to Forex whole day presentation. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday.